Yes, yes, gamers, coming at you with a paid ads update. Here's the deal. I got good news and bad news. Good news, we ran ads. Okay, we tested it for the first time, Meta ads. It's been 4 days since launch of 16 variations of ads. Okay, good news. Bad news, also good news. 20,000 people have seen the ads. Bad news. Bad news. We spent $183, and so far we only have one attributable join, one real join. Okay, we got a join. Okay, it's not bad. I talked a little bit with ChatGPT about this, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys because I think it's important we're on the same page here. Okay, and I'd like your feedback and involvement if possible. So I'm gonna kind of explain what happened and why. So what do we do? Let me catch you up to speed. So I ran 16 variations of an ad campaign. These were conversions to the Rocket League Clubhouse page. So sending people to the Rocket League Clubhouse page, which looks like this. It might redirect, yeah. Which looks like this. In my opinion, I think the page looks really not, like, the page looks clean. Okay, you got this cool graphic of me, authority. You've got a video playing. Today I'm here to solve and pretty cool. Although we'll talk about the video in a second. We've got proof of coaches. Although I wish we did have something that indicates who they are. Like X Pro for that might indicate who they are more or what they've done. And then some cool graphics of how it works, right? But long story short, the page looks pretty good. I think it's nice. You've got a couple options here for joining, different discounts, etc., etc. Reviews, what you'll get, and we can obviously adjust this a little bit. But what happened? Well, we ran conversions to this page. I basically told Facebook, adjust based on conversions. I'm gonna shrink my logo. 16 variations, 4 different angles. Okay, 4 different angle hooks, or not hooks. 4 different problems and solutions. So the problems were overwhelm, mechanics, positioning, teammates. Interesting. Not all of these have significant reach. So I'm going to direct your attention to here. This is the reach column. I'm looking at if something has over 1,000 views. It has significant reach. Reach means individual humans. Impressions means plays, right? If something doesn't have over 1,000 reach, I'm not really considering the data very robust. But there are a couple after 4 days that already have over 1,000 reach. I'm looking at teammates. Boom. I'm looking at overwhelm. Now, how does Facebook decide who to give reach? I have no fucking idea. Here's another one on teammates. But what are we noticing? Well, we're noticing none of these led to any joins. What is the only one that led to joins? A pain point on mechanics. This led to a join. This led to an actual join. And by the way, I checked the tracking and confirmed the tracking is correct. And so what do you make of this? I'll let you pause and I'll let you think if you want to think. Now I'll tell you what I think of it. What I think of it is that we have a product market fit problem, or some sort of offer market fit problem. What do I mean by that? I mean, this isn't a game of optimization. We don't need to optimize the hook or tweak the hook to get 20% more out of it. No, we just have a complete mismatch. Tens of thousands of people are seeing, only one is joining. That just means there's a complete mismatch of what people want. And I was looking at the comments, and I have a couple screenshots of the comments, and although comment sections are kind of, you have to take them with a grain of salt, because like the type of people are commenting, do you take advice from people who aren't buying your thing on if what you should do? Not really, but the things that I did see, love the vids, man, but $200 a year to have decent teammates doesn't feel right. Good idea, but charging for it is crazy. Et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at all the teammates ones getting traction. I'm seeing the problem of teammates is not a good pain point to lean into. That's what I'm learning based on the data. And so I kind of want to go back to the drawing board and say, well, what should we make the offer about then? And I'm going to propose we do kind of a big swing, but I'm going to justify it with numbers. So Teammates V3, 3,000 impressions, over 3,000 impressions, almost 3,000 reach, no joins. Teammates V4, 9,000 joins, or 9,000 eyeballs, no purchases. Mechanics, and by the way, this could be a total anomaly, but 400 reach, and actually does have a join. And so what I'm thinking here is not that telling people to join or have a checkout page doesn't work. Because funnily enough, we added a channel to the free community, and we do have joins this week. I was looking at the data, and we have a handful of joins this week. 8 new users this week. But where are these new users coming from? They're actually coming from the free community. So the people in the free community clicking the link and going join adult community, and then going here and then purchasing, okay? So what do I think this means? What I think this means is leaning into the teammate problem is incorrect. Leaning into the mechanics, potentially, leaning into the game sense, leaning into the learning the game problem is a much better angle. At least on a whole shot, okay? So I went back to the drawing board with ChatGPT, and what is it saying? To confirm this, it's saying you spent $180 and gotten one purchase. This is not a good sign of product market fit or offer market fit. You're getting impressions and reach, but your creative isn't compelling enough, okay? Only Mechanics has gotten the result. Every other ad is burning cash with no conversions. Most notably, Teammates, Overwhelm. Both have spent enough to validate their low performers, and I think there's even more for in the ballpark of Teammates being not a good angle. And then there are some other small tests, but most of them haven't crossed this mark in ad spend. Makes it hard to say that all the ads are bad, right? So we're gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop the Teammates ads. I'm gonna let the other ones run. These ones are clearly syncs though. So ChatGPT is saying, okay, so kill the ones with no conversions, but really what it's saying is look for leaks in the funnel and reevaluate the hooks. What is working so far is mechanics focused. This gives us a hint at where the interest lies. And I'm going to add a little bit more nuance. So reevaluating hooks is one thing, and looking for leaks in the funnel is another thing. In my opinion, guys, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, okay? I think this page looks good. Could it be better? I'm sure it could be. Is this page the reason we're not making sales? Unlikely. I think this is something going on with the offer and the angles of the hooks, just like the problems we're highlighting in general. So I think two things need to happen. We need to fix the offer. Okay, so what are we actually offering people? Are we making this whole angle around finding good teammates? I don't think we should do that. That's what the main hook was about. That's what the main VSL was about before. And the second thing is, what are the ads going to be about? So I want to do a 180. I want to pivot. I want to focus on offer in the VSL. So rather than making a 12-minute VSL explaining me, all the problems, etc., hit them straight with the offer. Rank up in Rocket League in the next 30 days or you get your money back. Period. No ifs, no complicated rules. If you don't rank up, I'll refund you. Unconditional money back guarantee. That's the offer. No more solo queue roulette. No more wondering if this time will be different. Get real teammates. Get real feedback from experts. And progress you can feel every time you queue up. If that's enough for you to go, all right, I'll try it, and then I go into it. And I made this new VSL that leans much more into just what we like, less about how it works. I do get into how it works later, right? But I'm keeping it 6 minutes, 7 minutes tops, making it much more about, yes, find better teammates, join a curated community, but start with access to classes, access to pros, because people don't seem to mind paying for access, but they do mind just, I'm coming for teammates. So teammates can be a benefit, but it shouldn't be the headline. Does that make sense? And then we can lead with access to, and we can end with access to me, but I think this is the better way to approach it. So what I want to do is I want to re-hit the drawing board with the offer being the hook, okay? And then highlighting, yes, maybe mechanics as a pain point, okay? And game sense potentially, and we'll test the other hooks. But leaning into teammates does not seem like the right thing to do. So that's one thing. The other thing that I think isn't working for us is I don't know why we're casting a narrow net. I actually could tell you why. Why are we making this community 18 plus? Why are we saying adults only? Why are we? Most Rocket League players are not those players. So if we're doing that, there has to be a good reason. Now, the surface level reason is kids are hard to manage. I would say, yes, that's mostly true. However, there's a big difference between like a 12-year-old kid who is like never going to sign up for a monthly subscription, right? Who can't sign up for a monthly subscription, and a 16 or 17-year-old kid. And I think by putting up the age limit, we're shutting down people joining. And right now we have a join problem. We don't have a community quality problem. We have a community of adults. The adults can push out the kids. We'll have a strict reporting system. But I think leading with 18 plus in the coaching makes sense. Okay, look, we're selling multiple $100 packages. It's a waste of time to have a kid on the phone. Valid. $27 a month community subscription that's fully refundable. Why are we forcing it to be 18 plus? Especially, why are we forcing it in the marketing? Why are we using valuable marketing space, which, like, right, we could be using on other things to show to say this message of like, you have to be 18, you have to be 18. I think we're wasting space. And so I'm suggesting we tweak the VSL, we remove the offer about, you know, making it adult focused. We lean more into improvement, access to people, learning, ranking up. People, things that we already know my audience wants, rather than going on the teammate side, okay? And we relaunch next Monday with the new VSL. We can continue to test the old ads, okay? So the new VSL, we continue to test the old ads, and maybe a few new ads that lean more heavily into, and I'll pull these up, that lean more heavily into offer, okay? And so, like, I was thinking of some ads like this, okay? I want to get this going on Facebook, also, you know, YouTube, and we can cut for both platforms. But without getting into the details, I think the first thing we need to do is let's update the VSL. Okay, I'll re-record this. We're not changing the VSL. We're just basically shrinking it from 12 minutes to like 6 or 7 minutes hyper speed, and reconfiguring the footage to make it more engaging and even hit these points, right? And then we're going to continue to run the other ads that are more like mechanics. Okay, there are more mechanic things, and then we can test a few more ads. We can add some more ads into the pipeline next week. But let's start with the VSL. Let's change the offer a little bit. Let's tweak the landing page so it's not so much like 18 plus drilling this. Let's lean more into mechanics, game sense, improvement as a player rather than teammates, and let's get more data next week. That's what I'm seeing. If you see anything different, let me know. Looking forward to your feedback, and if you guys want to write ads or anything, I'll share these documents with you. And yeah, I'd love your help. Okay. Thank you guys.